Hello, hello. Um, Nothing other than thank you for having me this morning. Hope this can provide some transparency to anybody who's watching. If you're curious about anything. Yep, yep. That is correct. So my job varies. My job title, at least. My job description varies depending on the Secretary of Homeland Security. My job currently, I oversee mostly daily operations of all of our agencies, which are SOT, Secret Service, and LEHT. Um, Essentially, what I do, I oversee them, and I get back, I create reports, get to Owen with whatever happened that day. If nothing happened that day, it's a regular day. Um, Essentially, I just make sure everybody's doing their job, while of course letting my agency heads run their own agencies as well, without stepping in too much. Yeah, so one of the key things that Owen and myself pride ourselves on with our the way we run DHS is we try not to get involved in our agencies. While yes, we oversee them, it is very important to let your department heads be able to have the freedom of running their own agencies because we trust the people we put in those positions. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's true. So recently, the myself and the secretary, Owen, released a memorandum on the September 28th, which is essentially going over what is happening with CBP and what we are doing with it. Um, in in short, the memorandum basically goes over that we are effectively shutting down CBP with a few remaining employees due to the fact that it is a failed agency. It requires too much work, and many secretaries in the past have tried to improve it, and it has gotten. Anytime we have tried to make improvements, or any other secretary for that matter has tried to make improvements, they've not gone well, whether that be Congress, development wise, internal, things like that. Yeah, we released a memorandum. I can send you some of the policies, or the policy of this memorandum if you'd like. I think reading it out is gonna take a while, so. So what we are doing, I mean, there isn't a lot for CBP to do. there's no need. We don't see a need for anything to go in its place, as there is nothing that it did that SRT, MPD, uh, whoever couldn't do already. Besides the obviously the being at the boost, and which that isn't a very important system, as we can't deny people anyways. This was primarily shown when Samuel Grierson was the commissioner, when they did try to have power, to give power to themselves, and it failed terribly, mostly because of leadership, but also just because it's I assume you're talking about CVP, or do you mean the departments like SS and SOT? So activity overall has been doing actually very well recently. Secret Service numbers have been improving. Seen it so too when we had, I believe, 13s. That number might be a little bit off, but SOT numbers, they were doing very well. The only issue is crime hasn't been at its peak, I guess, lately. We've had, anytime there has been high crime amounts, SOTs deployed as needed. It's just not an agency that can function without crime. Other than that, Secret Service numbers doing amazing. SOT numbers, they're there when they need to be, and when they do need to be, they rally about 6 or so. Not going to say that, but yeah. Other departments are doing. LEH2 is the only one that we are kind of concerned about right now. We are looking for more pilots. By the way, if you're interested in joining, please do. Anybody watching. Other than that, yeah, we're looking for more pilots. Could use some more. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be an NSA issue. Sorry about that. I gotcha. Yes, yeah. Of course. The primary one, MPD, I just love the work they've been doing recently. Under the new chief, Jake Long, and I believe the previous chief, I believe it was, it's going to take me a second to remember the name. I believe it was Haste. But yeah, over the past 2 or 3 months, MPD has been doing amazing, and it's just great for them to see them helping our other agencies as well. They are a major factor when helping SS and SOT fight crime. Other than that, FBI, they helped at our last event too. They've been doing great. Love the work they do. Yeah, MPD's just been doing absolutely amazing with their activity, and I love to see that. Yep. Go ahead, take your time. When you say previous administration, do you mean Nathan's last term, or do you mean the president before Nathan? Yes, so I believe the president before Nathan was Mr. Machiavelli. Overall, I believe DHS has significantly improved during Nathan's term. I don't believe that has to do with the overall administration, though. just more so the people that have come into DHS, not really affected again by the person in office. But yeah, I believe that Nathan has had the better DHS. I just believe that it does not relate to the president a whole lot. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm in a couple of the roles actually in this community. Would you like me to do? I'm in, I believe, 2 other ones. The primary one, I believe, is going to be Deputy U.S. Marshal, and I am a Division Executive Officer for 1st Marine Division. So the U.S. Marshals, we do vast things. Our capabilities are very wide. The primary 2 are going to be crime enforcement or law enforcement and protective duties on the Supreme Court and federal courts. There's going to be any federal judges, district chief judges, Supreme Court justices, all those fun people. Our primary duty, though, is law enforcement, just because we do not issue the court fines. However, we enforce them. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's alright. Pretty close. Overall, I believe activity of USMS has been it's something that relies heavily on the judicial branch. I don't want to call it a retirement home because apparently that's a bad thing to say, but USMS is mostly reserved for the people that are kind of not reserved for, but it's where a lot of people that are kind of detaching themselves from the community go, just because it's such a senior position. I believe compared to previous months, USMS activity has been doing pretty well these last 2 months. We've had a couple new marshals enter, and some of the older marshals are coming back to their activity too, so it's always great to see. After this a minute, I'm still debating with myself on that. The primary thing is going to be, of course, staying in DHS, but I am contemplating trying to pursue other roles just so I can see what other departments I like, because I've done DHS and U.S. military work for a vast majority of my time in OSF besides crime. So I think being able to be in other departments would be a cool experience. But it's something I'm still, thinking about, of course, just because I want to give DHS my full attention. So, right now, the military, we don't do a whole lot other than host some combat trainings, sometimes AI operations. just because military is something that we pretty much require war to be active. What I do, I oversee. I'm the second in command for the First Marine Division, so I oversee all our officers in that division. Um, yeah, it's mostly just overseeing the people that are under me, the position I'm in, making sure people are still kind of motivated, which I will admit has not been of great success recently, just due to some just lack of motivation, honestly. I think on a lot of ends, nobody really wants to be active when there's not a war to fight, so. Yeah. So, how the wars work? We have scheduled battles. Obviously, yeah. So, for the Korean War, for example, they had their own game, and we did some frequent deployments to their game. Other than that, we have scheduled battles. Obviously, we have training, so we did a lot of combat trainings prior to the battles. I think we had, I believe, 4, maybe probably more than that, combat trainings within 2 or 3 weeks before the first battle. But yeah, a lot of preparation goes into it. Of course, we used our own game for the battle. For the Korean War, it's a lot different for that one. Oh, sorry, yeah. So, I've only been here for one war, so I don't know how much I can comment on that, but on the process of it. But from what I can tell, we get as much notice as anybody else does, mostly because we do not require that much time. We do not require that much notice to be ready for war, because the preparation itself starts when we get the notice that we are going to war. And usually, when we know we're going to war, it's been known for a while. Like with the Korean War, we knew that we were going to have a war well before it was ever even sent into Congress. So, yeah, we have a decent amount of preparation. I mean, I wouldn't say asked you to, but it's an option. You can. I don't mind answering those questions. Is all I meant. Yeah, go for it. When you say let me read that question. So I believe Nathan has, of course, noticed the work that we've put in. It's something that I don't think he couldn't notice the work we put in. It's just that his personal schedule doesn't allow him to see a whole lot of it, but he knows. We make sure he's read in whenever he needs to know things, and I'm sure he reads our server pretty often, just because it's important for him. But yeah, we feel noticed, and it's also one of those departments that we don't require attention from the administration itself, just because we run so much on ourselves. I'm not saying we don't need help. I just don't believe that DHS is one of the departments that the president is required to be involved in. Things like DOS, the president, yeah, he's involved in those pretty heavily. DOD, things like that. DHS is just one of those ones that the president really lets them do their own thing, and I'm glad that he does, because it's a major factor to our success. It again falls under the letting the people you selected run their own things, because you trust them to do their jobs. And that's what Nathan has allowed us to do. Of course. So, not necessarily. When you say overlook, do you mean overseen or overseen? Yeah, it's a very self-sufficient thing. USMS, the Supreme Court really, or the court at least itself, really only touches USMS when it relates to selecting new leadership, I believe. And even then, that mostly falls under the chief, just for selecting like deputy chief, chief. And again, that's not something. I mean, I've never been in the position where I've had to see how much they get involved, but I believe that's what goes on. That's just my view of it. The courts already have their own things to handle, so they try to let us do their own thing. Do our own thing, sorry. For admin position, I mean, it really depends on the chief himself. Admin positions don't really exist that much in marshals, other than training, of course, which really, it's just a process of picking the people that you think are going to do best and whatever you're assigning them to do. As for just joining the marshals itself, it's a very selective agency. It's it requires a lot of experience. You're going to need, I don't want to say need, I don't believe protective experience is a requirement, but I've very rarely have I seen people without protective experience get into the marshals. Just the primary thing is having a lot of experience in the group, being able to show what you know what you're doing. And a lot of the time, it's just knowing how to be patient and not always try to be involved. Like know that you can sit out on this one, or know that you can watch from the sideline. Just kind of be chill, I guess, in that sense. Again, it's one of those, getting selected for admin positions is it's a very rare thing, as we don't have that many. I believe we only have one, and I believe that's for training. So yeah. Again, that's just my opinion. I've never been in a leadership position to judge that, so. Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me. I don't believe I have anything other than apply to DHS. If you're interested, please go for it. We're looking for people always. Yeah. I don't know this. Go ahead and open it. Oh man. Yeah, shout out to whoever's watching. Yeah.